what did I do wrong? Have to kneel down at the altar and repent again. I've been lustful, I've been dismal, and I've sinned again. I scared away.
The history of the movies. First of all, the history of the new art. Though it has affinities with the novel, the drama, the dance, photography, and music, like each of the sister arts, it has poetics of its own. When the early films turned from scenic views to pictorial stories, directors suspected that the poetics of the film was the same as for the stage. Stage acting, stage movement, stage stories, stage players, and stage perspectives dominated the first film stories. The camera was supposed to be a spectator in the theater audience, and just as the spectator has only one seat, the camera had only one position from which to shoot a scene. Time and experimentation revealed that the camera was anchored by analogy alone. The scenery is fixed in a space behind the action, but space in the film is completely elastic. Only the screen is fixed, not the action on it. Directors discovered that the unit of film is not the shot, but the scene. That the shots can be joined together in a number of combinations to produce whole scenes. That the scenes can be varied and juxtaposed and paralleled in a number of ways. Unity of place, a rather basic and practical principle of the stage, does not apply to the movie. More applicable is the principle of an appropriate succession of images which produces the desired narrative continuity. From the simple beginning of turning a camera on to record a scene, a filmmaker has learned that his art depends on the way his camera shapes the scene that he is recording. Analogous with a novel, the finished movie is not just a story, but a story told in a certain way, and it is impossible to separate what is told from how it is being told. Although the current film generation prefers seeing movies to reading novels, prefers making movies to writing poetry, and has even pushed movies into university curricula, it is surprisingly ignorant of the cumulative progress of the movie art, especially surprising since each student filmmaker lives through the identical historical evolution of film and learning his craft. He begins by trying to record technically correct pictures on film, perfecting his ability to obtain clearly focused, properly exposed images. He then realizes that the power of different pictorial compositions, the strategies of long shots and close-ups, the effects of different lenses and filters. Then he discovers the power of editing and creating a film's meaning and tone. There was a time that I had the knowledge. I've always had the knowledge, I've always been into books, into watching films, into poetry, into writing, into taking, more and more acting classes. I've taken master directing classes with Martin Scorsese, and I've, studied with the only teacher in New York that got to study with Stella Adler herself. I've always, been really blessed with good education. But knowledge is not power. That's the biggest lie that anyone ever told, that knowledge is power, because it's not. Knowledge is knowledge. What's power is God Almighty. We are in a very important part of society. So we have to use our media very wisely. We have to pay attention and do research and read important books. And we have to write our thoughts and use our creativity in a way that is uplifting. And we also have to be careful with who we share our energy with, because we want to be surrounded by people that are lifting us up and that are pushing us to do better and evolve. We don't want to be around the people that are feeding on our destruction, and when we're doing badly, they're all around because they're feeding on that negative energy. We want to be around the people that are not going to scatter with the light that's emitting from our soul when we are full of love and full of power and treading the road to success.
Evolution is not coming, it is here now. This evolution is not a physical one, but one mental and spiritual in nature. We're evolving as individuals, yet collectively, the first step is the elimination of fear and anger. Freedom is what we seek, and is the ultimate prize.
My work has taken a turn in the last few months where I've been helping a lot of other artists showcase their work and discover their true self. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity that God has granted me to be able to extend my prayer energy through this medium that is film. And the aesthetic choice to record in this cartoon style was made because I want to give the impression that what's really important is not how I look, but what I'm saying. And that the sun sees our body, but the moon sees your soul. So I'm here to share with my audience, my friends, and my family that the opportunity to grow and to overcome pain is there, and that there's a all-powerful and loving God that is helping us transcend our current condition and evolve. The discovery of sound raised doubts about the discoveries of the past 30 years. Once again, the analogy of the stage was suspected. Once again, stage actors, stage writers, stage directors, and stage techniques, just as the stage is anchored visually in space, so too it is anchored by sound. Sounds came from the speaker's mouth. You could see both the speaker and his mouth, but movies were free to show any kind of picture while the words came from the speaker's mouth. Synchronization of picture and sound also allowed for the disjunction of picture and sound. Further, the freedom of the movies from spatial confinement allowed a greater freedom in the kinds of sound they could use: natural sound effects, musical underscoring, distortion effects, subjective thoughts, and so forth. Whereas the history of the silent film, producing an evocative succession of visual image, the history of the sound film is the discovery of the different means of producing an evocative integration of visual images and sound. And I think today we're starting to realize, after this pandemic, that, the things we valued as a society are not really that important, because our health and our families and our relationships are more important than, what we can call our image, because that can easily crumble. Just as the history of the novel is, to some extent, a catalog of important novels and a history of drama, a catalog of important plays, the history of film, as in art, centers around important films. In film history, a discussion of the significant films is especially relevant, for not only are the individual films milestones on a historical path, but also a significant artistic discovery that immediately influences other directors. Film artists have drawn insights from the excitement generated by contemporary discoveries. The internationalism of film distribution has always guaranteed the rapid influence of any significant discovery. I read something that said that, when you lose followers, you really strengthen your tribe because you're standing up for something. And that has ring true for, a lot of artists who stay true to themselves and don't sell out to try to, get views or get clout, and just stay true to themselves. So that is where my spirit is heading. My spirit is trying to stay aligned with what my higher power has in store for me, and trying to be true to myself and to create work that is meaningful.
It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know if you have touched the center of your own sorrow, and if you have been opened by life's betrayals, or have become shriveled and closed from fear or further pain. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it or fade it or fix it. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own, if you can dance with wildness and let the ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes, without cautioning us to be careful, to be realistic, to remember the limitations of being human. It doesn't interest me if the story you're telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another to be true to yourself, if you can bear the occasion of betrayal and not betray your own soul, if you can be faithless and therefore trustworthy. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it's not pretty every day, and if you can source your own life from its presence. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours and mine, and still stand at the edge of the lake and shout out to the silver of the moon, yes. It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get up after the night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done to feed the children. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else fails away. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself, and if you truly like the company you keep in the empty moments.
The first films only captured a scenic or not so scenic view, and now they are a complex art and a lucrative business. Film is a unifying communicative tool. It is powerful because we can use it to communicate transcendence, unity, and uplifting others. Where I'm getting at, speaking about the history of film and the current state of film, and where I'm going with this is that film is a tool to be able to extend our prayer energy. What we're consuming and what we're creating right now is super important because it is our ability to communicate God's purpose for us. So we have to be very conscious of the media that we're consuming. It's really important that we are reading and watching and listening to things that are uplifting and are helping us to evolve and to grow.
Many of us have heard the Native American story of the two wolves. The modern version spread on the internet, however, varies from the original story and leaves out a fundamental different yet important lesson. Here's the version you've heard and likely seen already. A Cherokee elder speaks to his grandson about life, about a battle that rages inside of him. He says, "It is dangerous and it is between two wolves. One is evil, he is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, lies, superiority, and ego." He continued, "The other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, empathy, generosity, truth, and faith." The same fight goes on inside of you and inside of everyone else as well. The grandson pondered his words and asked, which wolf will win? In the version you've heard, the old Cherokee simply replied, "The one you feed." But here's how the original story of the two wolves really ends. The old Cherokee smiled and replied, "If you feed them right, they both will win." The story goes on. "You see, if I only feed the white wolf, the black wolf will hide in the dark, waiting for me to falter so that it can pounce and get the attention he craves. He will always be angry and will always be fighting the white wolf. But if I acknowledge him, both he and the white wolf can be satisfied and we will all win. For the black wolf has qualities that I need and that the white wolf lacks: tenacity, courage, fearlessness, strength of will, and resourcefulness. The white wolf instead provides compassion, caring heart, and the ability to value the needs of others over my own. You see, the wolves need each other. Feeding one and starving the other will eventually make both uncontrollable. Caring for both allows them to both serve you so that you can do something greater, something good with your time on earth. Feed them both and you will quiet their internal struggle for attention, and when there is no battle inside of you, you can hear the voices of deeper knowledge that will guide you in choosing the right path in every circumstance. Please, my son, peace is what we must all strive for in life. He who has peace inside has everything. He who harbors a storm within his heart and soul has nothing. How you choose to treat the opposing forces within you will ultimately determine how you live.
The Creator gathered all of creation and said, I want to hide something from the humans until they are ready for it. It is the realization that they create their own reality. The eagle said, give it to me, I will take it to the moon. The Creator said, no, one day they will go there and find it. The salmon said, I will bury it on the bottom of the ocean. No, they will go there too. The buffalo said, I will bury it on the Great Plains. The Creator said, they will cut into the skin of the earth and find it even there. The grandmother mole, who lives in the breast of Mother Earth and who has no physical eyes but sees with spiritual eyes, said, put it inside of them. And the Creator said, it is done. That is the last place they will look. The mindless storytelling of the Hollywood machine, with all its explosions, exploitations, and feasts of the flesh is but one weapon of mass distraction, pulling us away from ourselves and the truest reality show there is. Evidence of our inabilities to truly create, interpret reality and truth, and be in tune with our true selves is all around us. We need look no further for an example than the fact that our TV shows and movies are mostly recycled stories, adaptations of the same old themes, and recreations of what's been told before. That reality is we all have the ability to truly create and live in peace with ourselves as well as the world around us. This can be done successfully only after a diligent internal search for the truth hidden deep inside us all. Knowledge and being awake is only the beginning step on the path to connecting with ourselves and ultimately with the infinite power of the Creator within.
We have to be very conscious of the media that we're consuming. It's really important that we are reading and watching and listening to things that are uplifting and are helping us to evolve and to grow, because it's easy to get wrapped up in materialism and vanity and lust. And so the easiest way to get the audience's attention is by producing images that induce lust and sex sells, of course. But if we take a moment to really look within and try to uplift others and educate the masses too, and create awareness about social issues that are occurring in today's society, if we really take our time and listen to what's around us, we have to pay attention to what's really important, because we're at a very sensitive time right now where things are changing and people are awakening, and a lot of people are standing up to social injustices and trying to create change. And if we do not pay attention to the media that we consume and are constantly distracted, we can miss an opportunity to be part of this awakening collective consciousness, and we can continue to be asleep as we've been. We've been asleep, just motivated by materialism and vanity as a culture.
I once watched this amazing talk by Jennifer Lopez where she shared that no one knows what's in your heart but you. So if you believe in your heart of hearts that you're going to be something, you are that already. So no one can deny what you know in your heart you're going to be. One of the most painful moments in my entire life was when the man that I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with told me that if I wanted to be this big successful actress, that I was not the woman for him. And it broke my heart into a million pieces. Why? Because I've always known who I am, and I've always known what is inside of me and what my highest potential is. And so when he said those words to me, I thought no one will ever love me for who I am. And it was heartbreaking. And for a while there, I lost my ability to show up 100% vulnerable. But as I've healed from this relationship, and as I continue to grow and connect with my higher self and
connect with my higher power, that sense of vulnerability is returning. It's taken a long time because for a long time, not just due to the relationship, but due to a lot of pain and a lot of brokenness, I felt blocked off. And as I continue to grow in my spiritual path, the blockage is coming down, and my ability to show up vulnerable increases. And as that vulnerability increases, I'm more connected to my craft and my ability. So my piece of advice is, don't ever let anyone tell you what you are and who you are, because you know inside of you what your potential is. God does not put dreams in your heart for you to fail.
Where would we be today as a people if we lost the ability to communicate via social media? We have to think about what that would look like. I think that the purpose of technology is a spiritual one, but many don't see it. They look at it as a way to project an idealized image. And I think art is a tool that allows us to transcend what we've been born into, and to be able to gain abundance. Because I think that for everyone, God has laid out an abundant life. I think we all have access to abundance, and God is a God of abundance. And as creators, we can manifest an abundant life.
Hey everybody, my name is James. I am a 48-year-old Italian-Irish American guy living in New Jersey. I've been here my whole life. I am currently in Essex County, Newark, New Jersey, but grew up in Jersey City, New Jersey with my mother and my brother. My father came home from prison when I was 11 years old, where he and my mother then got remarried. I'm here to talk to you today about God and how I found God once again. I say found because I had to find a God that I was not originally introduced to. I am a gay man, and it's important you know that. The reason is because in the 80s, when I was being taught about God in a Catholic school, it wasn't a very nice God that I was being taught about. It was a God of dogma and punishment and even hatred. And as I started getting a little older and I started understanding what it meant to be gay, that it meant one man loving another man or one woman loving another woman, I started realizing that I am that. What I started to do, because I was being taught that what I was so wrong, I started praying to that God they told me about that was full of rage and hatred towards me. I prayed to that God and said, please God, take this away. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be like this. I want to be like all the other little boys, please. You know, I would lay in my bed every single night and ask him and beg him. You know? Like the cries of a little innocent boy who wanted nothing to do with what I was feeling, because everybody was teaching me that what I was feeling made me the person that was going to hell and gonna go there for all eternity and damnation. My my God, how horrible to do to me, or to any human being, or any little boy or little girl. You know, for a long time in my life, I prayed that prayer. It never got answered, you know. I realized eventually that prayer was like me going to bed and saying, please God, let me wake up tomorrow with green eyes, knowing I'm going to wake up with brown eyes, and then that my eyes will never change color. Neither will the heart that I have that is supposed to love who is supposed to love. So for a long time, I went on a journey of self-hatred because that prayer wasn't answered. Because I was taught that even God hated me. That the people in this world hated me because I was going to love. How could I not hate me? How could I not abandon God when I felt so abandoned by Him? You know? For many years I went seeking a place that I needed to go in order to find a rebirth. But I didn't know it at the time. I walked through a very dark valley and met many, many people along the way. What I've learned today, that during that time, God was in a lot of those people. God was there, guiding me, making me be right here where I am today. And when you love God the way I love God today, you understand and you see those faces that guided you along your way, and you're real grateful for that, you know? Because there were so many nights that I felt alone, and I wouldn't even pray to God, you know, because I didn't believe. I had to go and seek out self-destruction. It was the only way, you know, because I didn't like anything that I was, and the reality is, how could I possibly, when from the beginning I was taught that everything that I was wrong. So I remember through all of, I would say 15 years of a very broken human being, I went to this retreat. It was one weekend. There was this house up in Sterling, New Jersey, and I went there, and when I got in off the van, at the door was this woman, and she was standing there, and it was a whole bunch of men who had just been lost and as broken as you could be as human beings, who had gathered in this one place, and they said, hey, we're going to go up to this retreat for the weekend, and we're going to just, you know, try and have a nice weekend. It's going to be spiritual. And I was like, oh my God, spiritual, I can't take this, you know, I want nothing to do with that. But the reality was, when I got off the van and I walked to the door, there was this woman standing there. And I'll never forget how she had her arms open to each and every one of us standing there. How she looked at us in a way that I hadn't been looked at in so long. I had only been around such darkness, you know. And that hug carried me and everyone else in that house for the entire weekend with such kindness. They fed us. They wouldn't even let us get our plates off the table. They said, no, sit there, we'll get your coffee. You don't have to pick up your plate. You don't have to do nothing except enjoy yourself. And after everything we did, they would say, God bless you, God bless you. And you know, I remember the first time I got to my bed, and I was laying there in this retreat, in this beautiful house, and I was like, God bless me. How could God bless me? Who is God? You know? But I don't know. Something happened to me in that house. that weekend. They talked to us about someone that loved them so much, and that someone that didn't abandon them, and they gave me hope that there was the possibility of a loving God. And I left there seeking out this entity, this something that was kind and that wasn't full of hate and rage and that was gonna damn me to hell for whom I was born to love. You hate me because I want to love. I want nothing to do with that God. I am so grateful that my God today loves me, and that I love my God back that passionately, as much as He loves me. I will never abandon my God today. And you know what? I know my God will never abandon me. And that's the best thing. No matter where I'm at, no matter who I am around, there is always the God center in me. I struggle every day, right? I'm human, I'm flawed, but the reality is I know that I'm never alone. I'm never alone. And I am so grateful for this God that I love. I hope you can also have a beautiful God that you love. If you've ever felt abandoned by God, or you ever felt that, God may hate you, the reality is, find a God that doesn't. Find a God that loves you, because He's there. It's within you. When you start feeling it, you'll know that's where God lives. Love yourself, and you'll find God. God bless you.
Just want to say how grateful I am to get this opportunity to share how I got to know God in my life. First, I just want to say that I am extremely grateful and have a lot of hope to share. I grew up in Massachusetts, and I was adopted by a beautiful Irish Catholic family who was already introducing me to God in a more of a biblical Catholic kind of way. And I always had a love for God, and I always had like the little Bibles for kids, and I would read them, and I already had seemed to have the knowledge of who God was to me, which was a lot of love. For me, God is love. And as I grew up and I was taught morals and values and principles of loving everybody for who they were, I started to learn more of a personal relationship with God and how I see the world and how my creativity manifests in the universe today. And when I was, I think that I went on a dark path in my life, and through that dark path, I had learned that I knew that God was always with me. And even though I was in some very dark, uncomfortable, challenging, struggling times, I always felt the comfort that I wasn't alone. And for me, that was always knowing God. It wasn't until I hit one of the most darkest bottoms of my life that I felt the grace of God really magically remove me and save me, from really death. In those moments of the grace of God, I grew into a more spiritual relationship with the universe and with God. I just want to share the hope with everybody, because this is what is so present in my life today, which is my purpose and why I'm here and how I fit into the world today. It was through my dark valley that I walked through that I gained wisdom and knowledge of my purpose to help others today. And my purpose is to help others, in their addictions and with their mental health and with their self-esteem and finding purpose in life. And through all of this, every day that I go to work, which I am so grateful because I love what I do, when I sit with my clients, I always know that God is there and God is in them. And, I find the love and compassion to have understanding to why I'm here and what God is to me. And through that love, I'm able to help other people with their struggles and challenges in life. In my spiritual life today, I find God in my relationships with my companion. I find God in forgiveness. I find God in being in the day. I talk to God every day. I pray to God. I help God direct me in what He wants me to do, how I can be of service. And that could be in numerous places. That could be at work. That could be with a stranger in the store. That can be at the gym at night. That can be with my staff members when they feel overwhelmed. That can be in a simple smile when I greet a stranger. I've learned that my relationship with God is truly the love for humanity and to love others for who they are. And to, my spirit, I feel every day when I wake up and I ask God to direct me and to shine His beautiful light through me, I find that we all have the Spirit of God in us, and we can go either way. We can either stay on the dark path or we can shine into the light. And I also feel that we all have consequences in life. And sometimes we produce good karma and sometimes we produce bad karma. And that is whether I want to follow Jillian's path, which can be very dark at times, or whether I can follow the God path, which is bright and light and helps me to sit down to do interviews like this and share the hope of life. I know that every time that I'm struggling, there is always a life lesson, and there is always a bigger message in everything that I'm learning and going through. And a lot of it has to do with my primary purpose in life. And the only way that I can have true understanding to touch another human and to understand what they're going through is if God has taken me through it myself. Today, for me, God is love. And I honestly feel that if we can all find that love in our spirits and in our souls and in our hearts, we can all come together with everything going on in the chaos of the world and find what's most important, which is not outside things, it's love. The universe has magically removed all outside things from us so that we all could go within and find the love and heal from the pain that we've all been going through in our life lessons and our journey. I just want to say that today I am grateful for life, and I embrace the challenges and the struggles because it always makes me a better person. It always helps me grow in the dimensions of life. And I want to make a beautiful impact with being who I am, with not losing who I am. which if we can continue to get creative, we can always find that balance, and we can learn to touch the lives of others, allowing us to live our best life. So for me, God is love. God is accepting everybody for who they are. God is walking this journey with the strength of the universe. God is giving beautiful energy to people suffering, to people lost, to people still in darkness. God is sharing the hope, the experience, and the strength with those that don't feel that they can go on. And God is in the smile that I have every day. So have a great day, everyone.
So we think about this God moment in film and how the star plays a part in the God moment. Well, what's the difference between a star and just a regular person? Well, the big difference is vulnerability. So a star can show up with complete and utter vulnerability every single time. So you open your heart and you're able to show all your emotions in their completeness over and over again. No matter what the criticism, no matter the amount of rejection, no matter what, you're able to again and again show up and just pour out all your emotions. And that is what makes a great actor. That is what differentiates a star from every other person, that we can show up time and time again with complete vulnerability. So I've been thinking a lot about Audrey Hepburn and Marilyn Monroe. They always had troubles with relationships. Why? Because it's really difficult to have someone match your energy and the amount of love you pour into, because when you're born to be this person that is showing up for the moment in its completeness, in its entirety, you know, it's really hard to show up like that in relationships and not, one, scare the other person, two, be able to feel complete in return. So how do we escape not completely feeling fulfilled in relationship? Well, that's by pouring into our art, and showing up in this way helps us to overcome the need to have the love that we pour into others returned. So when we pour it into our creativity, it's returned because we see that love reflecting back on us. And some examples are painters, writers, directors, actors, and sometimes let's say the painter, for example, they show up with complete and utter vulnerability, and they pour everything into their art, and then sometimes they feel completely empty. What I've learned to do with myself to feel a sense of fulfillment is to have many outlets, such as writing, such as acting, dancing, because in this way I can feel complete and I can feel fulfilled, because I'm showing up for my creativity, and in return my creativity shows up for me because I express it completely. And I always feel a sense of fulfillment and happiness in pouring all of myself into these things. So the God moment is just being completely vulnerable, being full of love and light, and having that moment captured in reality, in real time rather, on film.
If I'm using my camera today to record something, I hope that it's meaningful, and I hope that it's uplifting, and I hope that it's unifying, and I hope that it doesn't cause anyone anger, and it just, softens their heart, whoever it is, whoever's watching. I hope that you just, have some peace in your soul, and you're able to surrender to your higher power and cut the jealousy and the hate off, and the mocking and the bullying, and just experience the peace that I have in my life and the happiness. I only wish you 3 times as much happiness and peace as I have in my life. I hope you have more than me. So with that being said, Pink Arts, peace to you.
Home in capacity, it is slow like molasses. Don't roll to the classics, more funk for your asses. And she don't know that I will go away, out the door before she's away. And she don't know my broken game, sucking blood straight from her veins.
I told you we would win!
Yeah, chasing mermaids, paradox, yo, staying classy but aggressive. I like women in their dresses, take them off, that's more impressive. Driving slowly in my Lexus, what's your name? She said Alexis. Love them all except my exes, friend them all when they accept it. Hit the DM with my message, then I hit her up with Texas. Skipping dinner straight to breakfast, I'm a winner, she's effective. Damn, this song is so infectious, wrap it up, don't get affected. Who I came with, who I left with, your business is my preference. Spanish, white, I'm not selective. My suit, I'm double-breasted, all my girls are nicely chested. On the street, they leave you breathless, on this beat, I leave you headless. Casinos, the progressive, ordained, they call me reverend. Damn, her brain takes me to heaven, song insane and not just plastic.
I am friendly yet aggressive, I like girls but I wear dresses. I like collars, I like dollars, I like pennies and millennials. I don't drink, but I've done plenty. When they drink penny.
I am friendly yet aggressive, I like girls when they wear dresses. Take them off, that's more impressive. I like collars, I like dollars, I like pennies and millennials. She don't drink, but I done plenty. When we drink that Henny. Spitting quick and spiritual, switching into digital. This is how I'm physical, lifting the boulders. Atlas with shoulders, happy cause I'm older. More bread to spread, chickens think I'm bolder. 4 beds with head, dirt off these shoulders. Door shed the dead, heart turned more colder. Beats made the murder, cause we take it further. Poppy in this piece with Jesus as our peace. Hold it back a piece, walking taller than the Jeeps. This is how we creep though, we extend the reach so others compete though. Game to succeed, road, chasing mermaid money like it's always sunny. Don't act funny, Mickey, not no dummy. I be tickling your tummy with my ditties and the funnies. Skinny brothers buggy, but they bummy and I'm comfy. Flipping houses, lifting blouses while these louses try to trounce us. A fountain full of wisdom, ain't no pouting or no shouting. Spreading seed through the rhythm.
I am friendly yet aggressive. I like girls, but I wear dresses. I like collars, I like dollars, I like pennies and millennies. I don't drink, but I've done plenty. When they drink, they drink honey.
I am friendly yet aggressive. I like girls when they wear dresses. Take them off, that's more impressive. I like collars, I like dollars, I like pennies and millennies. She don't drink, but I do plenty. When we drink, we drink that Henny.
Like swiping, don't check balance. I'm a spectrum with no center. I like drugs, but I am sober. Had a spiritual makeover. When I was high, I thought of art, but never did shit to start. Now I'm ready to depart. I'm out of space. I am floating with my man. I am toning by New York. We are expanding. Them West Coast streams be landing. Are you surprised I'm not lonesome? I found God, I'm more wholesome. I am shining, you ain't looking. I am copacetic booking. You pretending you don't see me, but thank God I am gleaming. This is chasing mermaid money. This is chasing mermaid money.
Chasing mermaid money. Paradox. Big Mike the MC. Sunny D on the mic. Let's get it. We out here.
Home in Cabasses, it is slow like molasses. Bone roll to the classics, more funk for your asses. And she don't know that I will go away out the door before she's away. And she don't know my broken game, sucking blood straight from her veins.
I scared away a vampire with my mermaid song. He ran out in the daylight, what did I do wrong? Have to kneel down at the altar and repent again. I've been lustful, I've been dismal, and I've sinned again. I scared away a vampire with my mermaid song. He ran out in the daylight, what did I do wrong? I am tired and I'm weary, think he drank my blood. Have to fill my loving spirit with the light above. I scared away a vampire with my mermaid song. He ran out in the daylight, what did I do wrong? Back to the pew and renew my spirit. Hope be back soon enough. Darkness runs with limits. I bet his soul is fresher, a bit less obscure. I let him swim in my desire and he found a cure.
From dust to dawn, I am the stone, ripple foam like a Molotov. When we make it glow, she hit the flow, I'll mix the pole to the bottle top. My back be closed, but wrap her arms, I'll smack the phone, wax on, wax off. She kissing more, we bless it all. Curtains fall, it's miles of talk. She fast asleep, I ran the creek, tiptoe to keep up from hearing me. Rap bastard fleet, my masterpiece, I blast the piece on a masterpiece. Man the bath flow, out the window, in the window, rap the pimp though.
I scared away a vampire with my mermaid song. He ran out in the daylight, what did I do wrong? Not looking for redemption, less stress with temptation. He went running out, but there's no vindication.